Hello, everyone. Hello. I'm going to stop sharing this now. Hello, how are we all doing? How are we doing? Hi. Hello, everyone. Hello, Dolly Joy, Viete, Viet, Yemisi, Olivia. How are we doing? Fine. Okay. Fine. Olivia is saying fine. Mm. So thank you for joining. Thank you. Usually I send emails like beginning of the month, and then I send also like before the session, but I wasn't too sure if it was going to hold, so I delayed a bit. And so you will not see like slides and all those things, but I'll just speak to you from okay from my experience, and I do not claim to like know everything, but I'll just give like my thoughts on the topic, and I would really love for us to discuss. I believe that there are people here who definitely would have more experience in the field of entrepreneurship and all. So please, I encourage us to engage, and that engagement is not just typing in the chat, but also um, being able to unmute and speak. I think that would be very nice. So before we go ahead, I would like us to kindly just introduce ourselves, where we are staying. Hi, I'm Juliana, and I'm from Nigeria. I live in Nigeria, like that. So can I hear from anyone? Will anyone be open to speaking, or would you prefer to type your answers in the chat? Okay, pardon me. I have had a chest infection and can barely speak. Oh my God. Then I need to pray for you. I pray for you, Yemisi. Every chest infection, I cast it out of you in the name of Jesus. I speak peace to your chest. I speak healing to you in the name of Jesus. For he was bruised for your for you, and he was flogged and all that, and by his stripes you are healed. So I pray for healing for you, full healing for you, and speedy recovery in Jesus' name. Amen. So let me continue reading the chat and let me know where. Okay. Um, I want to look at the chat. Okay. Please just put in your introduction there. Let me see where you're from. Your name and where you're from. I think it would be good. I'm Olivia, joining in from the UK. Okay. Hi, Olivia from UK. I think Yemisi put hers. I'm trying to. Okay. Um, I'm trying to find. So, what I need is like your name and where you're coming from, where you're joining from. Okay, Joy. Joy is from Abuja, Nigeria. Joy, do you know that I'm also in Abuja? I'm also in
Yes,
Abuja.
fine.
So
Good evening.
good evening. So it will be good for us to see one of these days.
Hopefully.
Okay. And this your DP is very nice. Okay.
Thank you.
Um, thank you. Then Yvette is from Cameroon. Inumidun is from Ogun State. I know Yemisi is from Abuja. Okay. So let's let me see. Do we have more people that would like to introduce themselves before we go ahead? I feel like some of the chats are moving in a way I don't understand, but it's fine. Okay, okay. So, like I said, oh my, okay. I think when I scroll up, I'm seeing like um anyway, let me leave that. Okay. Ifedayo is from Osun State. Okay. So please don't mind that I'm like this today, casual, and you can see my pillow at the back. I'm just relaxing. And Adewumi from Abuja. You can also relax where you are also. And please, do you know that there was somebody I met? I met her in, so there was an event at the UN house and I met her. And she was saying, "Oh my God, I'm signed up to your event, to your mentorship stuff." And I was like, "Oh, nice. And then she said something. She said, that when you sign up for people's mentorship programs, like you have this tush environment, this tush kind of thing, for your own, it's very simple. You're just like every regular person, but it's fine. I don't know how many of us feel that way, like maybe like there's just that disappointment, like, oh my God, when I saw the flyer and I saw this, I thought I was going to come and see like someone very touche, like a very touche setup. It's kind of like, I don't know what maybe you had in mind, but um I felt like the girl had a little disappointment. She was like, it was so simple and all. So thank you for the people, Olivia and Yemisi. Thank you for the encouragement. I'm going to try to, step up my tushness in life. Like people should bear with me gradually as life continues to unfold. I'll continue to work on my tushness. For now, I'm still like trying to work on everything. So I'm not as tush as some other mentorship programs would be. And I do not claim to know everything. In fact, this person you are seeing on this group, Yemisi, when it comes to startup, entrepreneurship, and all that, you understand, she's like an expert. So now that she's telling me chest this, that is why I first started with prayer for her, so that before I go ahead, if there's any question that has to do with entrepreneurship that I don't have the answer to, the healing of God would have already gone ahead, and by the time she opens her mouth to speak, her chest will be cleared. Oh, she said she would type. Thank you. Please, just to say that Yamisi has a mentorship program that she's doing. And if you want to grow in your business and you want to grow in your tushness, because forget all this one that I'm doing here. Hey, I need to leave for injections, but to stay as long. Oh my God, you are healed in Jesus' name. Looking for businesses to fund. So Yamisi funds businesses and she's very good. In fact, I have submitted my business to her to look at, and very soon I will be finalizing what I need to finalize so that they can look into my business. So these are the professionals. So if you have anything business that you need to talk to somebody to advise you on, Yemisi is the right person. You can private chat her as we are here, or you can check for her on Instagram, LinkedIn, or wherever, and you would find her. And she's a very good person to have. So, like I said, I do not claim to have all the knowledge on entrepreneurship and building sustainable ventures, but I'll just give you my thoughts on it and I would like us to discuss, right? So, thinking about it, I feel like a lot of people build the kind of businesses that they see others around them have. Why I say this is You see some people that have built some of the biggest businesses in the world say things like, oh, I grew up in Silicon Valley, I grew up in this business community, I saw this stuff happening in tech, I jumped on it and all that. Although now, due to the coming of like technology and the internet and all, definitely the world is a global village. So we get to see things that are even outside our locality, right? But I think it's people tend to do what they've seen people around them do. And most times it's hard to break from that particular mold. So I'm going to explain what I mean. Sorry, if at any point you have any question, just raise your hand. You can interject. After all, today I do not have a slide. Hey, somebody's video is on. Nice to see you, Jochimeni. So, like, why are you hiding? So, like I was saying, it's hard to break out of the mold for some people, and I'm going to explain this. So, my grandmom, I think she was into buying and selling, right? So when my that's like my great grandmom, and then my grandmom was also into buying and selling. So I'm from River State, and in River State, people like have all these fish, snail, crayfish, and all those things that are in the water. So they were into all those kind of business, I think. And then my grandmom used to sell, and then my mom used to go and like hawk for her and sell for her. And what she was selling then was like sweets and all those. She used to sell sweets and oh, that's nice. Yemisi was born in Port Harcourt. That's so nice. So you see that there is a connection here. So she used to sell sweets and all those things. Now, see what happened. My mom, growing up, I remember that even though she was a teacher, whenever she wants to start a business, like to support my dad and all those things, she would start those kind of businesses. Like she would go and buy sweets, she will buy biscuits, she will buy bread, like all those things that people can easily hawk. At that point, we were not hawking, but she will buy those kind of things, and then she will have a shop, and then she would also bake. She will bake and all those things, and then we'll stay in the shop, would sell maybe weekends or when we are not going to school. So that was the kind of thing she saw her family do. So she was, whenever she thought of a way to assist, that was what came to her mind. Now my mother is retired. After retirement, guess what she went into? Let me look at the chart. My mom retired like 3, 4 years ago. Guess the business she decided to start. I'm looking at the chart. Buying and selling what she has always known to sell. Yeah, you're right. Thank you, Ojochimeni. So my mom, after retiring, she no, not even fishery. She did not even go that far. She just went sweets. Those things she used to sell when she was a baby. All those sweets, yeah, sweets, chewing gum. Hey God, people are abroad here. Oh, they might not know what chewing gum is. Gum, yeah. So sweets, gum, um, biscuits, all those things. That is what she went back to after her retirement, after 35 years of service, right? Why? Why did she go back to those things? Because those are the things that she saw her parents do. Those are the things that she did as a child. And now, because that's her comfort zone, after retirement, she has gone back to those things. She has a shop, she has all those sweets. I'm telling you, she has all those coke, all those things, and then she can be there, she'll sell some, she'll eat some. Now, for me, growing up, I saw her do all those things. At some point, I ventured into them, but when I got married, I saw my husband more into the service kind of business, like service. providing service. So when I started thinking about what to do, my mind did not go to like all those goods that my mother used to do. It went in line with what my husband does, like all those service and like legal services and all that. Why? Because of my admiration for him. The reason why I'm going through this route is I want us to question why we think of the kind of businesses that we think of. So, are you thinking of the kind of business that you are thinking of because those people who are around you have been in those kind of businesses? And if those kind of businesses are low income businesses, low income businesses, is there something you can do to break out of that mold? For example, maybe volunteering in a new location, going to a different place, watching something different, going to train yourself in special courses in a different field. There are some, for example, the energy that you will put into a provision business, for example, and let's assume that you research, the energy that you will put into that business may not be too different from the energy that someone that is into the oil and gas business may put in, right? But when you look at the yield, even if somebody decides to buy all the sweets in my mother's shop today, she may not get, I don't know how much you get. You understand? It may just be a, like in Nigeria, we say like a chicken change compared to what somebody in the oil industry would get in their business. So if you question yourself and say, whenever I think of doing a business, I always think of hair extensions. Why do I always think of hair extensions when I think of a business? Hair extensions are not bad, right? But why do I always think of hair extension business? Was it possible that growing up, my parents were into, maybe my mom was had a salon or something, and she was into hair, nails, and all. And so today, that is what I'm thinking of. Even though I've gone to school and all that, whenever I think of a business, I think of hair and nails, which is not bad. Do I want to be known for something different? Or do I want to continue the legacy that I already have? There's something that I was thinking of. You know, my husband's dad was into consultancy. He did that all his life until he retired. Consultancy, right? And he had his consultancy firm. Now, after he retired, my husband continued with consultancy. But you know what my husband did? Instead of growing the consultancy that his dad started, he went and started his own consultancy. So that means everything that the father worked for the past 30, 35 years in his consultancy has been wiped away. And my husband has started something new, right? Now it's possible that he may build that and then our children may grow up and decide to start another business or something else. And then all the resource, all the knowledge, everything that was put into building this now would also now go. Hope not. But you see that for some of the businesses that we admire, those those people have a way of continuing the legacy in the sense that their father built something, they passed it on. It may not even be a family business, but they have a way of ensuring that there's succession planning and that the legacy continues. I'm not saying that we must continue everything that our parents built, but if what your parents built is similar to what you want to build, why do you have to start something afresh? That's one. Number two, if what you want to build can be an extension of what your parents have built, why do you have to build something afresh? Now, I'm speaking about businesses, right? So, there was somebody that came to work for my husband at one point, and her mom was into catering business. Like she was a very big caterer, I think in Lagos. And she had done that for years. People knew her mom and all that. And then this girl came to Abuja and she wanted to, so she was doing like the legal stuff with my husband. And then she now met me one day and she was saying that she would love to start like a catering stuff, that she would want to build, go into like what's the name of this parfait? Yes, parfait, small chops, and all these kind of things. And then she was like, okay, that she would register her business, she would do this, she would do that. So I asked her, I was like, how were you able to like learn all these things and know all these things? And then she mentioned that no, that her mom is a very big caterer in Lagos and all that. So I was not like, if your mom is a very big caterer in Lagos and she's into the event stuff and people know her in Lagos, and now you're in Abuja, you're thinking of registering a company afresh, you're thinking of sourcing for clients afresh and all that. Why not just expand your mother's business that is in Lagos? Let it be like another branch has come to Abuja, and then you ride on the goodwill of your mother's business for the past maybe 30 years, 35 years. Why do you need to start afresh? So I'm going to pause here and I'm going to ask a question. For those of us here, do we have people who are, whenever you think of a business, like you think of a business based on what you know, what your parents have done, or like a skill that you learned or something? That is one. And then number two, how many of us have parents who have been into businesses, and how many of us would like to continue our parents' businesses, or would you prefer to do something entirely different? So you can put on your mic and you can answer, or you can put your questions in the chat. Sorry, you can put your contributions in the chat. So I'll be looking at the chat and I'll also be checking to see if anybody's hand is raised. Am I alone here? Please let me know if you people can hear me, just in case I've been talking to myself. If you did not get the question, please let me know. Okay. Did you get the question? Did you get my question? Okay. My question is that how many of us are building businesses similar to what we saw our parents do? Or we are not yet building the businesses, but when we think about what to do, we think about things that revolved around our environment, like maybe what our parents did, what we saw our aunties do, our uncles do, and all that. Or what's like somebody who was quite popular in the community is doing. And if it's something you saw your parents do, is this something that you would like to continue, or it's something that you would not like to continue? So I'm going to read the chat. So Olivia, let me see. Olivia said, I think I am building independently based on my interests and strengths. Okay. Inumidu, my parents do not run any business, but I prefer rendering services rather than buying and selling. Okay, so thank you very much for contributing. So even for me, I I think I prefer service stuff than buying and selling. So Joy is saying my business idea is different from my parents' business. Okay. Yemisi is saying my mom was a teacher. To a large extent, my work involves a lot of teaching. She was also a tailor, but I have zero interest or ability to do craft. To a large extent, my business is a completely new track. Nice. Okay. So for me, my mom was also a teacher, right? And what I've noticed is that this whole talking thing and all talking to people, I guess maybe part of it came from that part of her. So I think it's still, and when I think about it, like the business that I finally built was still tailored to the education thing and all. So I think somehow like that influence is there. So I'm going to just, so I've already spoken about this to an extent, but I'm just going to say seven things or, okay, let me read this first. My mom and grandmom, oh my God, my mom and grandmom were into buying and selling. I, s- I do buying and selling, though not the same products. Okay. I will start a new business. I am interested in catering. It is, it has nothing to do with my parents. Okay. Um, Joyce says, my business idea is different from my parents' business. Okay, so I want to just talk about how like our environment can influence the kind of business that we choose, right? So, for example, like number one, customer needs. So your environment reveals the problems people face daily. So for some of us here that are Nigerians, we know that recently there was a post that was made, and the post was telling people to do like a business that people in the environment can take advantage of, like selling of selling of corn, selling of all those things. So I guess that the mindset in saying that was look for something around your environment, something that people, everyday people can buy and all that. If you look at what Dangote does or what he did, he was able to like build a brand and create products out of things that people need every day, right? And most times money flows in the direction of value. So if you create value, especially in a sector where many people would need it, that would be nice. However, there are some people that do not go for businesses that it's like a crowd that would need it. For some people, they just create businesses that are for like a niche sector, like a very small sect of people, maybe luxury items and all. And then they have those people, one, two, or three. But when those people buy it, it can cover what like thousands of people in a community can buy. So the best business ideas would most likely come from meeting the needs around your environment. And so if that is why, although now the world is a global village, but you'll be asking yourself like, why is it that some of us don't think of businesses like the way some other people who are our counterparts in another part of the world may think of theirs, right? And it's because of the environment that we come from. So there was something I was watching, and it was like an 11-year-old boy, and this 11-year-old boy had already created an app, and I think it was sold for 11 billion or something. Now, some of us who are already in our 30s, we have not even had the mind to even think of something like that, or we've tried to build it, and then web designers have frustrated us while we were trying to build it. But this is an 11-year-old boy, and because he's in that environment, he was able to build something like that. So, and I think that's also one of the reasons why we have a lot of people jackparing, like moving out of their countries into other countries. When you ask them, they may tell you things like, I want a better life for my child. I want my children to have better opportunities. And it's just because the things that we see and the things that we hear sometimes can shape us. And so if you're in an environment where there's limitation and all that, it may affect your mindset when it comes to possibilities that exist. But when you live in an environment where it seems like everything is possible, anything is possible, then you see that for some people, they would prefer to be in those kind of places, or at least they may be like, okay, maybe I'm already old and I've lost my chance, but I want to give my children a different kind of environment where they can think out of the box and where they can believe that anything is possible. So customer needs. So that was my first point. My first point was on customer needs. And for me, when I started it based on the fact that a lot of people were reaching out to me personally to say, I like what you're doing. Can you mentor me? Can you mentor me? And I just thought, okay, if people are saying, can you mentor me? So I picked one person and I started mentoring her. After I mentored her for a while, I thought about it. I was like, okay, if I can mentor just this one person, I'm sure I can mentor other people using the same template. And so there was something that I watched on LinkedIn, and what what happened in that place was they sh- they they sorry, they analyzed cartoons that children watched, and what they showed was that a lot of cartoons have like the same kind of characters, templates, and all. The way the cartoon character jumped, did this exactly the same, but they just change the characters, and then people pay for them and buy their merchandise and all that as if it's a new product, but it's not. But the thing is, once you have a template that works, you can always replicate it. So when I did that for just one person, I was thinking, okay, if I could do this for one person, I can do it for more than one person. And so far, like thousands of people have gone through the scheme just because that template worked for one person. So sometimes you may need to ask yourself when you're trying to decide on what kind of business to do, what are people disturbing me for? What are people always reaching out to me for? So that is the market speaking to you, like trying to draw from you. So if in a week or in a month, 5 people, 6 people have reached out to you, please, can you advise me on how to do this? Can you advise me on how to do this? And you keep seeing that you are advising people, you are helping people, or you notice that somebody wants to do a wedding and then they reach out to you, please, can you help me MC this wedding? You say yes, you do it. Tomorrow, birthday, like that. So you can see that the event space is calling you, right? Or let's assume hospitality. Maybe you are in a church or you're somewhere, and sometimes you just volunteer. Maybe there's a guest coming, you've already told them that, oh, I know how to set up stuff for guests for them to feel at home. And then every time guests are coming now, your pastor, your imam, or whoever is reaching out to you every time, please, we're having this guest come, can you help us arrange it? Can you help us call the hotel, call the airline, set it up, arrange the room? And you are doing it over and over, and people are reaching out to you. Now it's not just that you're doing it like that. Whenever somebody else needs to do something and they go and meet your friend or your pastor or your uncle or whatever, they'll say, go and call this person. She knows how to do it. That means there is something about what you're doing that the market is already showing you that this is something that can work, right? But we must also know how to now translate that passion that we have into something that is marketable. And for that, definitely we then have to put structures in place. So some people have been running things like this for a long time, but they've not put any structure in place. What do I mean by structure? You are, let's assume that people want to do their weddings and they call you to do their makeup. You do their makeup, you do their nails, you do their hair. After that, they say thank you. And then when they say thank you, you are just hanging around to see whether they will give you something, right? Because you've not stated, okay, this is what I want to be paid, blah, 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 and all. So now putting in structure is thinking, okay, how can I get a price list? How can I have a business name? How can I have a business model to this, a marketing model to this business, and all that? So when you're now thinking of this, oh, opening my Instagram page, my social media page, my website, and all, Now you're thinking about structure. Somebody wants to send you money, you now send them your personal account. They don't take you seriously. So you're now thinking, okay, in putting structure to this, do I need to register my company? Registering it, do I register it as a business name? Do I register it as a limited liability? Do I register it as an NGO? What is the best form of business structure for this? That is putting structure to your business, right? And then with the staff that you're working with, do you have trade secrets? How do you want to ensure that you protect that trade secret so that it's not something that somebody comes, maybe you're in a business where you like hire a lot of hands, right? And then those people come, maybe they come 2 weeks, they work, they go away and all that, and they now get access to your client list, they get access to everything. That means that your agreements are not proper. You understand? So, how are you going to arrange your agreements in a way that everybody that comes to your business to work for you, whatever they create, most likely would remain with the company, and your trade secrets remain as trade secrets. They do not just come get your data, get your client list, and then go out and use your suppliers and all that. So those are structural things that you may need to think about, right? Also, somebody reached out to me. I think it was last week or upper week. Somebody reached out to me. So this person had started a business, and she reached out to me like maybe a year ago. And she was like, "This is the name of my business. I already have my social media handle. I have my clients. People are coming to me and all that." And after she finished all those things, she was like, "Can you advise me?" I don't know. I think I just dropped like a voice note for her, but it was basically telling her to do her IP registrations also, like her trademarks and her trademark. I think most especially her trademark, because she had a product that she was already marketing. Now, a year after, she now sends me a message. And I think I dropped my WhatsApp number for her then. I think it was on LinkedIn. She now sent me a message almost a year later or more on WhatsApp. She was like, "Oh, sorry, I know you gave me your number, but I didn't reach out to you. I was trying to put things together. Well, now the issue is that we have done so much with the business and people know our brand and all that. And I was thinking, okay, now is the right time. I want to go and do my trademark registration." However, when she went to do her trademark registration, she realized that that name was already trademarked. So now she was now confused. She was saying, "Oh my God, this name is already trademarked, and I've already built my brand. People know my brand for this. I don't know what to do. Can you advise me?" Well, I cannot give you legal advice now, but I can just give you general advice, which can be that if that name is already if that name is already trademarked, because for the trademark it's first to file, right? So you can either decide to choose a different name. That means you have to change all your branding, you have to change everything. Or you can go and check, because she was also like that this person is not using it. That means that's a longer thing for her to do. Something that she would have avoided if at the initial stage she had looked at what she was supposed to do. So that's what I'm talking about, structure. So after passion pushes you and all that, you then have to think of all those structural things to do. And then when you're working with co-founders and all that, there's also like the shareholder agreements and all that. And if you're thinking about it, have you have you noticed that for some people they like go and they get co-founders and all those things, and after they get those people, that initial excitement, everybody is saying, "Yes, I'm in, I'm in, I'm in, I'm in," and now they are in, and that co-founder that was supposed to do something does not do anything, and you're stuck. You've already you've already allotted your shares, and that person has a share, blah blah blah, and now you're stuck. So there is a way that you can also do it, where even if this person is coming in, they're not immediately getting shares for what they're not getting shares immediately until they've put in some kind of work. So these are just some things. And for things like this, you would actually need to talk to a lawyer to advise you. So that's putting structure in place for what you're doing. So some of us, we also build our businesses based on available resources. Okay, I really want to build a very, I remember somebody came to me, and the person came to me with the person she wanted to marry. And I was asking her and the person she wanted to marry, I was like, okay, what's your plan? What's your financial plan after you get married, right? What's your plan? And then the guy was like, my plan for her is to build a very big hotel for her, a very big business, a very big this. That was his wish. You understand? That's his wish for her. But in reality, he does not have the resources for that. I remember somebody else met me one time, and the person told me, I would really like to do what you're doing. Like, I want to mentor people. I want to do this. But before I start, I want to uh, rent a duplex in Abuja. When I rent that duplex, I want to get this amount of staff. One will be in charge of this, one will be in charge of this, one will be in charge of this. It's going to be a big mentorship, blah, 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 and all. I was like, very good. That was like, at that time, I was pregnant for my third child. My third child now is 5 years old. That mentorship program has not started. Why? Most likely resources, financial resources, and other kind of maybe human resource and all that. So there is something called low hanging fruits, right? And that's being able to build something um, being able to build something without so much resources at first. And then with time, you can continue scaling. Now, for some people, they are good at starting something and building it and having it grow gradually, but they are not good at scaling. So for me, for example, I know how to start something with the smallest resource. And the reason why I know how to do this is because I did not come from plenty. And so whenever I thought of doing something, I had to think of the easiest and cheapest way of starting something. However, when it comes to scaling, I do not really have the skill for scaling. And part of the reasons why I said that I am signed up for Yemisi's program is because I'm thinking of scaling, and I'm like, I do not have the skill for scaling. So I need to reach out to someone else who has the skill for scaling. For some people, they may have the skill for scaling, but they may not have the skill for starting. So when people are looking for founders and co-founders and whatever, sometimes it's good to pair yourself with people who have different skill sets from you. So for me, I can start, I can grow gradually, but now I need to anchor or tap from somebody who knows how to scale, right? So this is just something we have to be very sincere with ourselves and truthful with ourselves. What are my skills and what are the things that I'm not so good at? For example, for me, it's hard for me to charge people. Like, I want to do something, I now say this is my fee and all that. And this thing also happens with people who are more impact oriented. Oh, impactful business, impactful business, impactful business, but you are not making any money and time is going, and it's like you're failing yourself, you're failing your family, and you do not have resources to push what you are supposed to push. I remember when I first started my mentorship program, that's the one for the professional courses. I remember that I did it for 1 year and I did it alone. I didn't have a staff. And it was 4 times a year, every quarter, 12 weeks every quarter, 4 times a year. And I remember that after every mentorship program, on the last day of the mentorship program, I will fall sick. I will be very sick. It happened Q1, it happened Q2, it happened Q3, it happened Q4. And I was speaking to somebody one day and he told me, he said, you cannot continue like this. Because you want to impact people, because you want to do free things, because you want to see people's lives changed, if you continue like this, it is not sustainable. Try to put something, no matter how small, so that you can get a staff that can ease the load of you. And it really helped because I still maintained that the course was free, but it then had like a certificate that people could pay for. And it helped because I was able to get staff, and it helped me to relax. Now I don't even do it anymore. Like, I do not even look into it because there are people that are looking into like the daily movement of everything, and it's because of just that simple advice. So this advice is also for people who are impact oriented, and I learned this model actually from my pastor. That's Reverend Sam Oye. He would actually have several programs. He would have programs. He would have hundreds of people, thousands of people come for the program. It would be free, but he would say you can pay for certificates. So for me, for like people who are impact oriented, that may also be a way that you can also make it happen. Now I'm speaking to you just on starting, not on scaling. If you need to learn how to scale, if you need to get funding and all those things, please talk to Yemisi. Now, so I've spoken on available resources. Now, do you even know that it's possible to start something without initial income? For example, if you have a skill and that skill you want to start monetizing it, you may not need so much to start it. For example, I have a skill of um so I understand music law, entertainment law and all those things. I can decide that I want to start a consultancy. I can work on the flyers myself. I can use Canva to do a logo. I can open social media handles. All those things are free. I can start talking about it online. That's free. People can start reaching out to me. I can start saying, okay, for you to talk to me for 1 hour, this is the amount. All those things are free. Now, as it continues, like that, and I start getting money from it, I can now decide to use the money wisely, multiply it, and all that. And then you see that something has grown from nothing. When I started my mentorship stuff, I remember that at that point, I was living in a one-bedroom flat and I had just finished school. I didn't really have anything, right? But what happened was years after now, that company has staff, it has money and all those things. How did that happen? It happened just from gradually building something just with what I had in my head and giving value from the knowledge that I had. For some people, what you can do is like you can bake, you can cook, you can make hair. For example, for people that can make hair, like what you just need to start is just to start. Like, even if you start saying, oh, I can make hair, I can deliver home service, I can come to you, and then you start putting it online and all that, you are making from, you are using your skill to make. So for available resources, your materials, you have to think of your materials, what you have, your skills, the technology that's available to you, infrastructures that are around you that you can make use of. Also, your economic condition can affect the kind of business that you choose. For example, like I said, for some of us that are built in that are living in places that seem like they have limitations, like light challenge, you have to think of solar, um, security challenge. You have to think of getting a police, just different things that you have to, for some of those kind of things, and even the education, there are still some limiting. So yeah, that can affect. But for somebody else who is your contemporary that is in a different place, the person might be able to just think and move on their feet like that based on the kind of place that they find themselves. Also, there's culture and lifestyle, like people's tradition, their beliefs can affect the kind of business they go into. Daily habits can affect it. So I remember that I was speaking to somebody, and the person is a lawyer, and he was saying that the way the guy got like his money, because the guy became wealthy, and he was saying that the way he got it was I think he was passing through one of these security organizations, security agencies, and he saw some people who who were um almost being arrested, something like that, and they needed a shorty. But those people had money, but they didn't have a shorty, and this guy was a lawyer. And so he saw them as he was leaving, and then he met them and he said, "See, I do not care whether you did what you did or you do not do what you did. I don't mind. But if I should be a shorty for you and all that, and I take your case up and all that, this is the percentage of what you're going to give me from the money." And because they were desperate, they agreed. And he did it for them. He took all of them as short. He shorted all of them. They went to his house. After that, Monday morning, he started the case for them. They won the case. He got his percentage, and that's how he started representing those kind of people. Now, when I was talking to the person that was telling me, the person that was telling me is a pastor, right? But he's also a lawyer. So I was like, is he right based on the fact that it's possible that these people are actually bad people doing things that are wrong? And the guy was like, no, he's a lawyer. He's performing his legal services, which is to assist them. So it's not about emotion, religion, or whatever. It's he's just performing his legal services and he's being paid for his legal services. Now, for some other people, they may be like, oh no, morally this is wrong and my conscience cannot work with it. So sometimes your culture, your lifestyle, your religion and all that can affect even the kind of business that you do. For example, for like people who are into the music industry and all, you may see some people that may sing a very good song, like a love song and all, and for that song to be used, maybe somebody has come to meet them that, oh, I want to use this song for like a pornographic stuff and all that, and they'll be like, no, even though you want to pay me 1 billion, don't put my song in your sex scenes. You understand? So that is now based on their values and all. Um, competition also, your existing business in your environment can also help you to identify gaps. So for example, when you see that there are several people who are going into this business and they are successful, you may tell yourself, okay, if one, two, three have gone into this business and they've succeeded, if I go, I'll also succeed. But why we also need to be careful of that. So I remember that I was listening to somebody on the platform, and she mentioned that when she was younger, that she joined that she was in a bank and she used to go to source for finance, and she mentioned that she reached out to this person who was selling wine, and the woman had money and all, and one day she was like, oh ma, I would like to be like you and all that. And the woman just shook her head and was like, follow me. And the woman drove her into the bush, and then she saw like a fish pond and all that. So apparently the woman had a fish pond that was giving her all the money and helping her to live the kind of lifestyle that she was living. However, what was the front for that was the wine shop. And several of her friends had gone to start that same wine shop business, not knowing that what was giving her the money was not the wine shop, but the fish business that was at the back. So the wine shop was the cover, right? So sometimes, even when we see people in our environment doing things and we're like, okay, if this person did this, let me also do this, there's sometimes that it may not work because what is happening is more than what you can see. I'm going to move on. Before I move on, do we have any question? If you have any question, you can ask, and then, okay, so I can see that Honorable Justice is here. Before I continue, please, I would like us to just congratulate her on her wedding anniversary that was last week. Please let us, Honorable Simisola Adeni, Justice, Honorable Justice. Yes, congratulations on your wedding anniversary. Please, can we
Thank
type
you. Thank
congratulations in
you.
the chat,
Thank you so
please?
much.
Thank you, ma. May God continue to bless your home. Thank you for all
Amen. Thank you
yours
for
and
congratulating me. Wishing
thank
you
you.
all your heart's desires, and God will exceed all your expectations in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you very much, ma. I'm grateful. Yes. So I'm going to move on now to several types of businesses that we can think of, right? So I've been talking about the impact that our environment has on us, and how it makes us to decide on what we are supposed to do or how to go about what we are doing. So for some people, they are more inclined into service kind of businesses. So they use their skills. Like growing up, my sister knew how to make hair, she knew how to make clothes, she knew how to cook. I remember that time, once a visitor comes to the house, like my sister will just rush into the kitchen, whatever is available, she will mix it, she will start, before you know, she will cook. Like when you're looking at like all the children in the house and you're thinking of who is the wife material, she was the person. Like she knew how to make hair, she knew how to cook, she was handy at home, she had all those motherly skills, all those things. Now she's into that kind of industry where like that is like the beauty industry and all that, and that's because of her own personality, right? That's her skill. So now that thing that comes natural to her is what is helping her to have money and all that. So sometimes we may not need to look too far, because I remember that she had been looking for a job for years. And I'll tell her, I'm like, but you know how to make beads, you know how to make hats, you know how to cook, you know how to do this, you know how, why not start with what you know how to do while you're looking for this job? And she'll be like, no, because I know how to do it does not mean that I have to do it. But after she stayed for years and she didn't get a job, now she finally went back to those things that were easy for her to do. For me, part of the things that helped me in my own movement was the fact that I had one thing, and that one thing was I knew how to sing. So I used that music to make money. Okay, so I used that music to make money throughout school, going to back up and all that. So for me, that was like my side hustle of my business. I was singing, I was doing all those things, backing up for people and all. That was how I was getting money. And then when I finally went and did law, my husband advised, why not find a way to merge your music skill and your legal skill? And that was how I moved into music business and all. And now that is what has taken me into this field. And I'll tell you something, the service that I was rendering, the amount that you are paid for your service, right, is is dependent on who you are providing that service for. So for example, how would I put it, when I was providing the service that I was providing for university students, that's in my mentorship program, the university students were taking that service for free, and they were just paying for certificates. Certificate was like maybe 5K at that time. It was a very little amount, and what I was able to just pay for that was like the staff that I had, right? But now I am rendering the same service. The same service that I rendered to university students is the same service that I'm now rendering to where I work, right? Which is an international organization. The pay difference is not even something to even try to put side by side. The same service but a different client. So what I just want to advise us is, when you're thinking of your business, you can think of your business in, so there is like B2B, there's B2C, that's business to customer, business to business. Also thinking of a way that you can say, let me separate my business into two, catering to this class of people and then catering to this other class of people. When you see some car manufacturing companies, they have some brand of cars that an average or a middle class person can buy. And then they have some other brands that high earning people can buy. So you can also structure your business that way so that everybody has a place in your business. Or I remember listening to Myron Golden, and he said something about a particular clients that he had. And this person was an accountant, and they were catering to like individuals who were just starting and all. But what happened was when his son came into the business, his son was like that he believes that they can make more if they are able to cater for businesses instead of individuals. So what he did was to write a figure of what he would like them to start having, and then he moved all his individual clients to other firms, and they started marketing to businesses. And he was saying that within, I think, 1 to 3 years, they were so like they had made so much money just because they tweaked their business strategy. So I'm just saying that. So there is a skill, and then there's also the uh, looking at your expertise or your so those are for people who are going into this the service kind of business, and it can be consulting, for example, hairdressing, catering, coaching, legal services, accounting services, etc. Then there's the product business. That's people who are manufacturers or people that create physical goods to sell. Sorry, physical goods to sell. So these people, for example, I think Dangote does this, like he manufactures different things, cement, sugar, different things that he manufactures. So for this kind of people, if this is where you fall in, then this is for you. And then there's the trading, retail, wholesale business. They buy products from suppliers, they sell them for profit and all that. And then there's online. And I think that for this online, it can be applicable to every kind of business. So whatever kind of business that you're doing, it's important that you find a way of integrating technology, AI, and all into what you're doing, because that is where the world is moving to. So for those who are in online space, they make use of like the internet, they offer their products, services, digital content, and whatever in their stuff. So they might have e-commerce stores, online courses, digital marketing agencies, content creation, etc. And then social enterprise for people who have like all this kind of humanitarian hearts. They always want to do something that can impact people, touch lives, change lives. For those kind of people, most likely is NGOs that they will have. So for the NGOs, they would most likely be looking for grants, or they may create like a business, like a proper business that will be funding the NGO. Because now, as we can see, the way even the world is going, not not funding, people who are funding now are more critical. So you also need to, yeah, think about that. Some people are in agric business and whatever, so you need to think about it. So I think there's a question in the chat. Let me look at it and see. I'm coming. Please, if you have a question, you can put it in the chat, or you can raise your hand and you can ask your question. I don't know if Yemi is still here, because she said she has an injection she has to take. But like I said, if you need Yemisi's contacts, I can always send it to you. Just send me an email. I can send you her contact. If you're thinking about scaling your business, funding, and all that, she's the right person to talk to. So I'm going to check the chats. Sorry for the. Um, okay, so Deborah says that my question is, for someone with more than one skill, what is your advice on how to balance? Yes, so my advice for someone with more than one skill is perfect all your skills, and then sorry, perfect, master one of your skill and be known for that one first. When you're known for that one, you can easily use the goodwill that you have on that one on other ones. Please let me know if you can hear me, because my phone is hanging. So I just want to be sure that you can.
Yes, Mark, I can hear you.
Okay, okay. Thank you. So um that was the reason why I wrote that book, The Reward of Consistency. And if you read it, you would see that I said that Dr. Mike Murdoch came to our church. I think it was in 2017 or 2018. And he said something profound that changed my life. He said, be known for one thing and the world will come to you. You don't need to be known for so many things first. You need to be trusted with one thing. When you are trusted with that one thing, it would make others to trust you for any other products that you have. So I'm not sure what Dangote started with. He started with a particular product. I know he had sugar, he had cement, he had this. Now he has gone into oil and gas, right? So that is the power of mastering one thing, getting people to trust you for that one thing, and then you can thrive on the goodwill of that one thing to bring up any other product that you want. If you should look at our social media influencers and these people that the youths now look up to, you see that there are some people, for example, who first started as singers or as music artists, and then after a while they now moved into content creation. They now had their fragrance line, makeup line, and all that. Why? Because people now trust their brand. So even if you have so many skills, you can start with ensuring that people trust you for one thing. Once you can build trust of people on that one thing, you can get any other thing that you need to do. You just need to get people to trust you first on one thing. So look at all your skills. Somebody gave an example with the finger, with the fingers on our hand, and the person said, if you should look at all the fingers on our hands, you see that one is longer than the other. They are not the same height. And that's how it is. When you look at the skills that you have, there's definitely one skill that is above others. There's a particular skill that people reach out to you for the most. So what our advice is, you can zoom into that skill, work on that skill, popularize that skill, get the trust and credibility for that skill, and then you can move into other things as you move forward. So I'm going to start rounding up so that we can take questions. So look around you and look for a problem that you can solve. Like I said, for me, my own entry into what I started doing was people started reaching, first of all, the problem that I noticed in my own industry was that many people were signing contracts and they had issues, maybe because they didn't review the contracts properly in the music industry and all. So what did I do? I started advocating, my talking about the industry and all that. And after a while, people started reaching out to me. Oh, I have this problem. I have this contract. Can you help me look at it and all? I started doing those things pro bono. And the reason why I was doing it pro bono was to exercise my skill, exercise what I was learning. And then after a while, colleagues started reaching out to me, mentor me, mentor me, mentor me. And that's how the mentorship program started. So that was a problem that I was trying to solve. And the problem now led to something that gave me visibility in the industry and now gave me the role that I have. So look for a problem and then try to solve that problem. Structure your business properly. Register your business, do your IP registrations, have your contracts both with your staff, with your contractors and all that. And then open your social media handles, your websites and all those things, and then talk to a consultant if you have to. And after starting and when you want to scale, also talk to people who have skills in those areas. And then many people delay starting because they want everything to be perfect. Like I said, everything does not have to be perfect before you start. And even when you start, there are still things that may happen that may tend to discourage you from continuing. I remember that when I started the mentorship program, I got pregnant for my third child. And at the point of being pregnant, I needed to give birth to my baby. Please, I want to know if you can still hear me. Can you hear me? Because, like on my end, I'm hanging on my end.
Yes, ma.
Okay, thank you very much. So, like I said, when I started it, first of all, I was falling sick because I was doing everything by myself. But with that advice, I was able to now start making some amounts. And what that helped me to do was to be able to get a staff and then staff, more like staff after that. But another thing that happened, I remember, was as a woman, I remember that I was supposed to give birth to my baby. And at the point of giving birth to my baby, at that point, I was still doing everything alone. So, what I did was, since it was a CS, I scheduled my CS for a day before the mentorship program. So the mentorship program was on Friday. I scheduled my CS for Thursday. So I gave birth on Thursday. I still had the mentorship program on Friday. So these are some challenges that come. And I remember during the mentorship program, then I would I would put my video on, but I would put it like above my so it will just be on my chin, and then I can be breastfeeding my baby down. You understand? Nobody will know that my baby is down, that I'm breastfeeding my baby and all, but those were things that I had to go through. So why I'm saying this is that things may not be perfect, right? Because I didn't even have a help at that time. I think, like, you know how you may have a help today, the help will leave. Another time, another one will come, another help will leave, and all that. So I'm not sure I had one at that time. So I had to find a way around it. So there are things that may happen, things may not be perfect and all, but you just need to find a way around it. And I shared the story of the person who said he wanted to do a mentorship program, but that he has to get a duplex first and all those things. And this is 5 years after he has not started. So you can begin with a simple version of your idea, test your idea, learn from it first, and then improve as you grow. It doesn't have to be perfect. For some people, they cannot start their business until it is perfect, until they've perfected everything. They'll do the feasibility study, business model, everything. When they finish doing all those things, they're already tired, right? So separate your passion from your strategy. Like your passion will give you energy to start, but your strategy is what will give you results at the end. So if you want results, aside from the strategy, you even see people in the music industry, for some people, they will sing and sing and sing, yet people, they are not making money from it, they're not doing anything, or they are acting movies, at the end, they are begging for money and all. So you need to also study who are the people who are in this profession, who are doing it very well. What are the things that they are doing? I said, I used to say something with my husband, and what we say is, for example, let's assume that you're a Christian and you go to church, and going to that church, your pastor is preaching, is telling you what to do and all that, which is very good. You listen to it and you take all the goodness from it and all. But sometimes, beyond what the pastor is saying on stage, if you watch the pastor's life, there are things that you can notice, like this is the pastor's methodology. This is what the pastor is doing. This is what the pastor is doing. The things that are powering the success, that is what you will now try to emulate. Or you are looking at somebody who is running a business or has a career, and the person is coming and saying, oh, be motivated, you are motivated to succeed, you are motivated to, and then, which is a very good thing, when the person says you're motivated to, and the person is blowing all those grammar, you are saying, ride on, ride on, ride on, ride on. But you need to now go beyond what the person is saying, for example, and then you go to maybe the person's LinkedIn page. That's like that's on the career side, for example. You go to the person's LinkedIn page and you check. You go through the person's education profile, career profile. What are the things that this person is doing? Why is this person all of a sudden engaging the media? Why is this person all of a sudden engaging a publicist? Why is this person all of a sudden launching a new? So you start thinking, so you're not just moving by what this person is saying, you are critically observing what they are doing. So I'll just leave that there. So so that's about strategy. If you are not able to think strategically, then you can pay people who think strategically to advise you. So also we must think of how to manage money wisely, right? So you get the money, if you get the money, you spend the money. When that huge flow, if when there's a fluctuation in that huge financial flow, you may be stranded. So if you listen to the parable, was it a parable or something about, sorry, the dream about the 7 years of plenty and 7 years of lack? The reason why there was food in the 7 years of lack and other nations could come and take from Egypt was because there was savings during the year of plenty. And now we're not just talking about savings, we're also talking about investment. So who says that you cannot invest for your business? You understand? So we also need to start thinking like that. So another thing is to build systems and not ensuring that everything rests on our shoulder. So like I said, when I first started mine, I used to do everything myself. I used to be sick. If I was not around, that thing was not going to go on. And that was the reason why, even though I had to give birth to another human being, a child, I had to ensure that the CS was a day that was not a day of my program. Because if I allowed that thing affect me, then I would not have my program. So I had to schedule my CS for Thursday so that I could have my program on Friday. But imagine if I was delegating, imagine if the business was not fully on me. And I remember that what happened to me in 2022 when I got my role was it forced me to move everything from me to others. Now I don't even have to look at what is going on. I know that it's already on autopilot, it's already running. The people running it know what to do and everything. And that means there is a possibility of a legacy, right? Because everything is not on my shoulder. So a venture becomes sustainable when it can operate beyond the founder's daily involvement, create processes for communication, sales, delivery, and record keeping so that the business is not entirely dependent on you. Another one is to leverage relationships and networks. So we must also think about that in how we run our businesses. Opportunities would often come through people, through recommendations, and all. You'll be surprised. People may just be having a discussion and then they're like, oh, call this person. I think she's very good in what she does. So collaborate with people. Do you know? Let's assume you that you even want to make a name in a particular field. All you need to do, for example, is to have webinars with 12 key people throughout the year. And then their crowd will know you. And once their crowd knows you, that becomes credibility for you. So, assuming you want to build a legal practice, for example, if you say in a month, I'm going to have two webinars, one beginning of the month, one at the end of the month. I'm going to get seasoned professionals across Africa to talk to, and then you put it, you blow out the PR and all that. Immediately at the end of the year, if you're doing 2 times a month, that means you would have had 24 distinct people on your platform. One, you've already built the credibility of your platform. Their audience now knows you, and just there are just a lot of things that can come from there. Also, the products that we bring out, they also have to be quality products. So you don't want to bring out a product that people will now regret that they bought that product from you. I remember that I saw one product online, and sincerely, I thought it was a product. I saw a microwave, and I saw just a microwave, and it looked so fine, and it was so cheap. I was thinking it was sales. So I quickly paid for the um, microwave, thinking that that was sales. And by the time it was delivered, it was not a microwave. It was a cloth that was to be on top of the microwave. So I was so shocked. I was shocked for a long time. And then I went back after some days. I was like, no, what I paid for was microwave. Why am I getting a cloth? And then I went back and I now realized that what they were advertising was not the microwave, but the cloth that was on top of the microwave. So what I'm saying is, let it not be what I ordered versus what I got or something like that. Let's also try to be credible, to have integrity in our businesses. And I remember just some days ago, I was talking to somebody, and she just came into the environment, so she needed to buy food, and she was checking and she was saying, where are Nigerian food in this place? And then she saw a particular place and said, buy your Nigerian order Nigerian food here and all. So she ordered the food, and then she waited 20 minutes, 30 minutes, the food did not come. So she called and she was like, please, is the food coming? They said, yes, the rider is on its way. The rider is on its way. Okay, 30 minutes gone, 1 hour gone, 2 hours gone. The rider on his way. Up till today that I speak to you, the rider has not arrived. So um let us not run our businesses like that. When you run businesses like that, you totally block that. So we must, lastly, we must think of long-term impact. What do we want to be remembered for? What do we want to be remembered for? That storyline or that line must manifest in our products, in the quality of our products. And even if we are into impact, we must ensure that what we are doing impacts the lives of others. So, with that, I have come to the end of my session for today. Please, do we have any question? You can raise your hand or you can type it in the chat.
Ma, please, I have a question.
Okay, please go ahead, Grace.
Okay. Um, Thank you very much for the class. And like since Jenna, I've been following, though I've been silent. Like it's been impactful. Thank you very much, Ma.
Thank you.
So yeah, I want to like this. I started the business. Like I started building. I'm still a student. I'm still a student. I'm still in 500 level. So I started a business this year, in May.
Okay.
But since I started it, nothing has happened. I've not had any patronage. Even the business, like, is a service to be offered, but like it has a lot. I don't know if I should send business plan so that you see it by yourself. But I don't just know how to go about it. I don't know how to like get people um to accept the offer I'm trying to offer to them. Like everything is just there. And this particular business I started is something I just love doing. Then I decided not that my parents are not doing it, like nobody's even doing it close to me. So I just it's something I just love doing. And then thank you, ma.
Okay, thank you very much. So, Grace, you're in what level?
I'm in 500 level, ma.
So you're a law student.
Yes, ma.
Okay. What's the business?
Okay, the business has to do with children.
Okay.
It has is a selling and also services, offering of services.
Okay.
Yes, it has to do with having everything about children, like supplying all the things you need for your child, and like at your doorstep for pregnant women, baby, like newborn baby, those ones that just gave birth, and then the ones that are still going through omugose. So what we do in the business is we offer all the services you need instead of you going to like the market to like a new mom, instead of a new mom going to the market to do it all by herself. We offer the service to you at your doorstep.
Okay. Thank you very much for sharing. So I'm just trying to understand the business properly. So you provide services for new moms for themselves and for their children. Is it that you like give like is it like clothes, feeding bottle, pampers, wipes, or is it like you help them to bathe their babies, to massage their babies?
No, what we do, like, okay, we sell all those things, but then they don't have to come to the market themselves. We offer it. What they just need to do is to pick anything they want to buy, and then we offer it at their doorstep. And then we also, like, if they need nannies, if they need a school, like a crèche for their newborn baby, we provide all those things for them.
Hmm, nice. So how what's your marketing strategy?
No, I don't even know anything about business. That is the problem.
Okay, so how are these women supposed to know about you?
How I don't
How are
know.
these moms like? How are they supposed to know? Like, have you done this business before? Have you
Yes.
done it before, and are you doing it alone?
Well, I'm not doing it alone, but I've worked with people that have been doing it. Like, I teach in children class, so I have been seeing like the needs that the parents need, like mothers. I know that during their 3 months at home, it's very hard for them to like go to the market and get things for themselves for their baby. Like usually had even as someone the new moms that they're always like confused of what to do. So
Yes.
yes,
So for me now, I have 3 children, and I know that during the time of antenatal, there are these women that used to come to the antenatal place and they share flyers. They share flyers and they tell us, oh, this is what we have, buy this, buy this, buy this. And so many women buy things on the spot for their children. So that was why I was asking, what's your strategy? What state are you in?
I'm in my boy state, ma.
Oyo State. How many public hospitals, how many government hospitals and private hospitals are in Ebonyi State?
Okay, we have two public hospitals, and then for
Okay.
the main ones, there are two in Abakaliki, the particular place I am, and then
Yeah.
private hospital. I don't know how many is here, but I just know many that are here.
Okay. Have you gone to these hospitals to engage with all those midwives that take care of that do this pre birth counseling? Have you gone to talk to them, or
No,
have you gone during any of the antenatal days?
no, ma, I've never gone down. No,
Okay,
it
because
has
that
never
is where your clients are, right? That is where your clients are. So you need to you need to, first of all, maybe create like some flyers. But even if you make those flyers, if you've not negotiated with those matrons, when you go with those flyers for the antenatal, they may not allow you coming. So you may need to go and make friends with the midwives that do all those antenatals, with the gatesmen and all those people. And then They would now tell you their antenatal days, both for private hospitals and government hospitals. On the antenatal days, because you are a student, you may not need to do that, but you can get a like an ad hoc staff or somebody, maybe your partner, that can go there during the antenatal and share those flyers for them. That is one. Then number two, there are several churches that have children's sections, right? And for those children's sections, they may have like a children pastor or whatever. So that is also another place where if you should go with your flyers, they can put the flyers in every child bag. Like for all the children that they have, they can put flyers into. There are times that my children will come back home and when you open their bag, you see flyer for this, flyer for this. They can put it. That's another thing. I remember that there was somebody. So do you have a website for this, your service?
I don't have yet.
Okay. Is it because of the money?
Yes.
Okay. So have you heard of Linktree?
Normal.
Okay. So Linktree is like, there is the free version. And there are other apps that have like free versions of what they do. But for the Linktree, you can create a link. And that link, inside that link, you would have a list of all your services. So you can have buy children's clothes, children's accessories, uh, helps or whatever it is. So when you have all those links, then you put those links at different places or wherever. So when people say, okay, when you go and you give them those flyers, since you don't have a website yet, you can also have this
Yeah.
Google, Google, there's this Google business where you put your business on Google so that it's not a website, but it's like a page on Google where you have your services and people can look at what you're doing. So you can have that. That's the one for the Google business. Then you can also have that link tree stuff so that you link it to your WhatsApp number. So when people go to your page and they click on things to buy, they click on it, it will then lead them directly to your WhatsApp. And if you're using WhatsApp business, it will automatically greet them. Thank you for coming to this. We offer this service. Click on my this to find this. So you create some kind of, so you have to think of it. What is my client's what is it what is my client's pathway to me, and then you try to put things there. So that is another thing that you can do. There's also internet marketing, like digital marketing, which is something that you would need to pay for. But there's something that I would like to say lastly. I remember I was speaking to somebody and the person was like, that the person wants to start a new business and all that. And I asked the person a question. I said, whenever people call you and they ask you, what do you do? I never see you talk about what you do proudly. For example, for me, like even when I was running my business alone and all that, whenever you see me and you ask me, like I always talk about what I do. I talk about it a lot. In my introduction, I talk about it. I talk as in I'm always talking about it. When you are talking about what you do, you make people now aware of what you do. But for some of us, we are even ashamed of what we are doing. But we expect other people to respect what we are doing when we are ashamed of what we are doing. How many times have you stood up to introduce yourself and you introduced your business? How many times? I remember then I was just starting, but I will always say, my name is Juliana. I'm a legal practitioner with specializations in intellectual property, entertainment law. This is, I provide, I will just be, that's how I always introduce myself like that. I did it for years. You understand? So you must not be ashamed of what you do. You have to think of, now there's also ChatGPT and all this stuff. You can ask them, this is the business I do. Give me a business plan, give me a marketing plan, tell me what I can do. But I'll tell you the truth. ChatGPT may not be able to tell you what will happen in Ebonyi State. Like, oh, there are two hospitals in Ebonyi State. If you go to this hospital, they may not know it, but at least it will be able to give you so, an idea of what to do. So I don't know if this has helped, but this is what just comes to my mind for now.
Mhm. Thank you very much. Thank you
Okay,
so much.
thank you, Grace, and well done. Okay, Junior, Junior, do you want to ask a question? Because your hand is up. Okay, so while we are waiting for Junior to ask her question,
No. Good evening, ma'am. I'm so sorry, ma'am.
okay, please you can go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. Well done, and thank you so much for this opportunity. I really
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Thank you.
Ma, what my question is actually regarding my niche. For
Okay,
context, I just got called last week.
congratulations.
Thank you, ma.
Congratulations.
Thank you, ma. So, and I can speak French, and I actually
Oh,
love French,
yeah.
and I am really, I really don't want to drop French. Like, in as much as I want to practice, I don't want to drop French. And although I've been seeing offers, and I've been hearing that there is a market for me in the francophone countries, like some of the countries that speak French, but they also use Nigerian civil law, like this Senegal, and also like ECOWAS. ECOWAS is their law is in French, and some other opportunities like that. But I really need someone to like advise me strictly on what I can do and how I can really merge the two together. I don't know if you understand my
Okay.
question, ma'am.
To an extent, I understand it. So, do you want to practice law, but you want to practice law and utilize French, or do you want to create a business out of the French language?
I want to practice law, but at the same time, I want to like make a difference with the French language. Yes.
Make a difference? How?
Um, Probably with international law. I was thinking of if I can go into ADR or international law or something that allows me to like probably always have an edge, yes, with foreign clients.
Okay, thank you very much for sharing. So, definitely knowing how to speak French is an advantage. I remember that years ago, there was a job that came up in MTN, and for the job, it was like an IP job, like a lawyer with IP skills. And I reached out to the person who had posted the job, and the person asked me that can I speak French? I was like little. The person was like, can you review documents in French and can you draft documents in French? My answer was no, and that was the end of the job. Recently, another job came out in the United Nations, and I applied for the job. I reached out to the person who advertised the job, and the person asked me, can you make presentations in French? I said I know French, but not to the level of making making presentations and being fluent, answering. Like I'm still learning. Person was like, no, I need someone that can make presentations, answer blah 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 in French and all that. Now, what I'm trying to say is that definitely, especially for international organizations, having the French as a language is a very high advantage. So I think you should be looking at roles in the international space. Usually, in almost every job application, they must ask that question: can you speak another UN language? They always ask that question. Once your answer is yes, you would indicate the language, if it's French, maybe Arabic, Spanish, or whatever. Once you indicate that, they'll ask you, is it basic? Is it good? Is it excellent? Once you pick excellent, that has given you an edge. over other people. So that is one. Number two, several legal firms right now are expanding their firm's expression. And for these firms, they are having clients, for example, IP cases. There are some people that may want to register in francophone countries and all those things. They may have clients like that. So having somebody that understands French is an added advantage. So even in your LinkedIn profile and your CV and all that, you must always find a way to highlight the fact that you speak French so that people can know that, and if it's something they want, they can reach out to you. Another thing I would say is peradventure, you also want to create a niche, like a business kind of thing, providing specialized services for businesses and organizations that need to learn French and whatever. There are many people who really want to learn French, not just because they feel like speaking it, but because they need it for professional growth and advantage. And also, you can come from that professional space and offer that. Offer there's even there is you can even start from volunteering. For example, I remember that in my church, for example, there was a time last year when everything was going on without sign interpreters. Right now, sign interpreters always give their sign interpretation for everything that is going on in church. The reason why that is happening was because somebody suggested that there are some people that come to church that may not be able to hear what we're saying. Why don't we engage sign interpreters? And then we saw that there were volunteers, people who could do this sign stuff, this signing, and then now we have sign interpreters, right? What if what if you even go to, like, starting with even the church that you attend or the organizations that you are part of, and if you have noticed, there's something that I'm seeing recently. Almost every visual content that I'm seeing, they are always interpreting it in English and in French. So now artificial intelligence can do that. But can artificial intelligence do that on the spot? Can it do that live? So, for example, let's assume that what state are you in? Hello, Junior. Can you hear me? What state do you reside in? Reside
Oyo State, ma.
Oyo State. What church do you attend?
Church of God Anti-Babylonia.
How
And
many
I
of you?
interpret in my church. Yes. I translate in my church.
You already translate.
Yes, ma, in my church.
Is it live? Do you translate live
Yes. Yes, ma.
while the service is going on? So your pastor is preaching in English. You're translating in French.
Yes, ma.
Is it streamed online?
And no, ma.
You don't stream your services online.
No, ma. They don't.
Why?
Mm. Still, my local church would not gotten to that level yet.
No, it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't take your church anything to stream online. You just go on Facebook and you press stream. That's all. But assuming that your church is not even streaming, you
Yes,
do you have a good phone that can record you?
yes, ma, I do.
Do you record yourself and post?
No, yes, ma. I'm just bringing that to LinkedIn, and I
Okay,
think
so when you when you interpret in French in your church, who are you interpreting for? Since it's not streamed.
it's actually an initiative in church. We started learning in church before I went to like learn further at Alliance Française. So
Okay.
yes, ma'am.
Wow, that's a very good thing. So, have you thought about SIBA? Another thing that you can do is you can also look for, just you have to think out of the box. That's just it. You have to think out of the box. You have to think of, maybe they are influencers, maybe they are big ministries, or they are big platforms, big organizations and all. You can come up with a proposal. You write to them, you tell them, I'm a French disease. Then you put in your bio about who you are. And then you can start with volunteering. Like, I would like to join you at every of your outreach events. While you speak English, I'll speak French to ensure that we're able to reach not just the Nigerian audience, but also this. You craft it very well. By the time, because there's something about collaboration that I spoke about, when you collaborate with people who already have a platform, it has a way of rubbing off on you and increasing and elevating you to their level. You understand? So check
Okay.
within your. Have you noticed that there are some people who are backups at, let us just even use Dunsin, for example. Have you noticed that all the countries he travels to now, he travels with his bassist, his keyboardist, his this, he travels with all of them. I used to know the guy that plays keyboard for Joshua Selman. We went to the same school. We used to jam together and play music. Now he's traveling across the world. Anywhere that that Apostle Joshua Selman goes to, he goes with him. Why? Because he's playing keyboard for him. So that is just the power of affiliation, the power of collaboration. So you have something that is very good, but while you're working on it, can you think of maybe do like a research in your state? Who are the, you can even look for politicians, NGOs, churches, different people. Just get like five people from each of the most influential spheres in your place, or even social media influencers, and then you send them a message. For me, when I started, there are sometimes that in a day I can send over 20 messages, well crafted. I send it. If I send 20 messages for 31 for 30 days in a month, you times 20 times 30, that's the number of messages I send in a month. At the end of the month, maybe five respond to me. By the time you are seeing the collaboration with those five people, you will not know that I have written to 20 people times that in 30 days. But somebody else can be seeing that and be saying, oh my God, people are just every day she's having this speaking engagement. But I'm reaching out, but you don't know. Some people that you see that are being featured and all that, they are actually reaching out to those PR people. They are featuring them. Some even pay for it. They will now say, most influential these women in this space, most influential these women in this space. Most of those people that you are seeing as most influential, most this, they are the ones that use their hand to nominate themselves. They sent emails by themselves. Some even paid for them to be featured. But you are staying somewhere, you're feeling bad that, oh my God, nobody has reached out to me. So you create your platform, you reach out to these people, and then you see that gradually you are not expecting everything to happen at once, but before you know, it would begin to add up, because that's the power of the ripple effect, right? The compounding effect.
Yeah, so
All right. Thank you.
thank
Do
you
we
so
have
much,
any other
Maria.
question? Okay. I think there was one in the chat. Let me check. Okay. Olivia, she said, in terms of having a job that funds your dream career or business, I keep hearing take tiny steps to get there. But then the bills, the rejections, how do we find balance and still live a happy life? Have a life, because most times we spend so much time chasing business or dreams and end up only having that. Cause I find myself doing the job I don't like to fund the one I love currently. Hmm. Let me read it again and answer step by step. So, in terms of having a job that funds your dream career or business, I keep hearing take tiny steps to get there. But then the bills, the rejections, how do we find the balance and still live a happy life, have a life? Because most times we spend so much time chasing business or dreams and end up only having that. Because I find myself doing jobs I don't like so that I can fund the one I love currently. Okay, so I would say that I don't know if you can speak, but what is the life that you like and the one that you're doing to fund the one that you like? I would say that there are many people that live that kind of life, and I don't think there is anything bad in that. Because, for example, as a mother, I can I can be in a job that maybe is toxic, right? But even though that job is toxic, I know that I'm not living for myself. I'm living for myself and also those who are connected to me. So, for example, I need to support my husband. I need to support my children. I need to be able to have reserve fund in case something comes up. I need to be able to build a business. I need to be able to take care of things. For all those things to happen, I need to work where I'm working so that I can make what I'm making to be able to fund the life that I have. So at that point, I'm working with that purpose in mind. Now, it will depend on me to now consciously say, okay, despite everything that is going on in the workplace, can I leave the work where the work is? When I come back home, I enjoy my family. Can we take holidays? Can we have so I'm now building a life outside work. I have my work, but I also have things that make me happy outside. And with building my emotional intelligence, building my networking skills, negotiation skills, and all that, gradually, and even with prayer and all, that toxic situation in the office can change to a different one, right? So it's all about mindset. And also, I am just doing this so that after a while, maybe I can transition into something. So, with the mindset that, okay, this is not forever, then I will do it and do it well. So, because why I'm saying this is because there are some people that may have so much responsibility, but because of this mental health, all these things, which I'm not saying because we all have once in a while when we feel down and all that. Because of all those things, we then leave what we're doing that is giving us the leverage that we have, and then we now go and we are now struggling somewhere else trying to look for something, and after we are regretting and all. So many people are not totally pleased with where they are and what they are doing and all that. But if you have a plan in mind, you can take what you are making and use to build something that you can later transition into. So I don't know if I've answered your question. If I've not answered it, please um you can type or you can unmute and speak. Okay, so while I'm waiting for her to either, okay, yes, I have. Okay, so before we round up, is it possible for us to put our videos on and take a picture? While we are thinking of whether we should put our videos on and take a picture, I'm not sure if Yemisi is still here. If she was here, I would have asked her to speak. Yemisi, oh, Yemisi, can you speak or will you type something for me to read before we go? So that you can advise because you're an expert in this field. So while I'm waiting for you to either decide to speak or type, please, I would also want to ask the Honorable Justice to, in few words, speak to us also before we round up. Anything, I think it would be very valuable to us to hear from you.
Thank you. It's been a very, very illuminating session. I've learned so much from this. Most times, it's not that you need these things yourself per se, but it's a guide for for me because I have many people coming to me for mentorship, and for me, I've learned so much guidance on the way to go when I have such issues come to me. I particularly want to encourage the people that have asked the questions and that you've responded to take action, because it's not just enough just to give advice. I heard you saying at a point that there's somebody that you gave advice and up till now she has still not done anything. It will be injustice. Having stayed for over 2 hours learning and you don't have the push, you can always go back and I'm sure probably they have your personal contacts so that they can follow up if they find any area difficult at any time so that you can give them that push. And for me, I always say there's this Yoruba proverb that says it's a child that lifts up the hand that the mother will carry in most, if you don't reach out to people that you need help, you will not get help. So as you've been encouraged and admonished and trained, this you should just reach out to people in the area and the fields that you want to get better, and then you will get the help. You can't. And there's another saying that the one that keeps quiet, all your body. So if you do not say it out, nobody will know what is going on in you. So say it out, ask questions. It's good to start and fall, but the bad thing is that not starting at all. You won't know the ability that you have until you start, make mistakes, improve on the mistakes, and move on. Don't let the mistakes that you make discourage you. It's an opportunity to improve on yourself and just carry on. That's all I want to share for now. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Very grateful. Thank you for your wise words. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. So with that, we've come to the end of the session today. So for the pictures, can we put our videos on? Thank you, Shola Ja, for putting your video on. Do we have any other person that wants to put their? Hi, thank you, Ma. Thank you. Please put your videos on. Yes, so I'm taking a screenshot. Thank you. I'll take one more. Please put your videos on. And you can also take a screenshot from your end. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for coming. Have a lovely morning, afternoon, or evening, depending on where you're joining us from. See you next month. Bye. Let's share, don't forget, and send a message so that I know how the session was for you. Take care, everyone. Bye.